The WIA's Amateur Radio magazine recently did a survey on its reader demographics. The results were published in the latest issue. They showed very much that the readership is old people. More than half the readership were aged over 65. Another quarter were between 55 and 64. That makes over 3/4 of its readership over 55. Now this was a opt-in survey, so not just across all members or magazine readers, but only those who responded. Now, we're not quite comparing apples with oranges, but I thought it would be interesting to have a look at figures for my own YouTube channel. Now the sample size is very different. Only about 1/10 of my viewers are Australian, so it's much more of an international viewership, with the United States being the biggest single component, but by no means a majority. And the other thing is that the numbers are straight off YouTube, so no one needed to do any survey, as we already knew their age. Anyway, the figures are very different. If you look at the figures, and I'll put them on the screen now, you'll see that the over 65s are a substantial, but by no means a majority of my viewership. The other thing is, if you go down the age range from older to younger, it's only about age 35 that the viewership really drops off. Whereas with the WIA Amateur Radio magazine, that same drop-off is at age 55. I should point out again, they are different numbers. They are comparing apples with oranges because of the different samples, but they do show that amateurs who watch YouTube, or specifically my YouTube channel, are not necessarily the same people that read magazines, such as Amateur Radio. An average editor of a magazine will just publish what people send in. An above average editor will know their readership, have a vision for the magazine, and knows what the magazine's contents should be. Even though in a voluntary society they are normally not able to pay or commission work, they could at least cajole people and try and get them to send articles of the desired type in. In the case of a magazine whose readership is overwhelmingly old people, they'd need to skew the publication of articles. For instance, they might cover projects that can easily be done by people with shaky hands, antennas that could be put up in, say, a retirement village, or not require much physical effort to put up and take down, and various other things like that that would be more likely to appeal to a senior readership. So that's one of the reasons why knowing the demographics of your readership or viewership is fairly important in tailoring what you should be publishing. Another thing for the publishers of magazines is that a very aged readership skew can mean that their magazine might not have much of a future. The average life expectancy of someone at age 65 is 20 years. So there's a bit of room there for them to get their house in order. But on the other hand, there will be cases where people get to, say, 80 and they might stop being a member of an organisation or subscribing the magazine because they're not able to do some of the activities in it. So there's an issue there. They might have a bit less time than the life expectancy, as people do tend to deteriorate in their last few years of life. As for younger people, neither the magazine nor videos has a very high audience there. So that's something that everyone should possibly work on.